Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Midcard Mafia podcast. My name is Sean Linhares. I'm joined by Paul McIntyre and Logan Randall. And this week's podcast starts with a question. What would you ask Vince McMahon if you could? Randy, start us off.
Vince McMahon, why do you continuously, for the past 25 years, hire demonic or satanic characters? It boggles my mind.
Paul.
Who is your favorite wrestler? And why is it Giant Gonzalez?
Why does Batista look like such a douche every Monday night? This is the Midcard Mafia podcast. This is Wrestle Enigma. Enjoy.
Cause I'm on my game. Haters get shook when they speak my name. All this pressure that's on my back. So much stress that's on my brain. I'ma just
Okay, so you've got the Wyatt family, Undertaker Kane, and Doink the Clown as demonic satanic characters. Any others?
John Cena has something devilish about him. Maybe it's that devilish smile and twinkle in his eye.
Oh, Sean, you playful so-and-so.
I think the real question is why, like, the fourth most powerful person in the corporate WWE world has killed multiple people in his career, and why he's killed multiple people employed by the company in Kane.
I mean, you need that viciousness, I guess, but this is the Midcard Mafia podcast. Welcome back. My name is Sean Linhares. You just heard Logan Randall and Paul McIntyre. And we're going to be talking some Elimination Chamber today. All the matches are going to be discussed, as well as kind of how they blend into the WrestleMania card. We're going to be predicting all of them. It's kind of a bizarre card, and we'll get to that in a second, because there's kind of two really awesome matches, and then 6 kind of ones. But we will start with one of the awesome ones, and that is the Wyatt family versus The Shield. Really, the moment the Wyatts came into the WWE, this was a match everybody wanted to see, and now we're getting it finally. The Shield are pretty much going to be babyfaces for the night. We could finally see them kind of break apart with a Roman Reigns spear, perhaps, which is something I would be for. I've really loved both stables in the WWE, especially the Wyatts as of late. I feel like both teams, though, really the last month or so have just been beyond fantastic in how they've crafted their storylines and whatnot. I don't know if either team has put on a bad match so far. So obviously this is a much hyped match. 6 very talented guys. Randy, we'll start with you. You were just talking about demonic psychopaths. What are your thoughts on the match? Who's going to win? What does it mean heading into WrestleMania? I know I'm hyped for it. I assume you are too, because, I mean, it's impossible not to be.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome, I think. I mean, it's in WWE, for one, they don't really like factions in general. So the fact that we have 2 really well-booked, like, good factions that people care about at the same time is really great, for one, and now the fact that they're feuding is also awesome. I love the fact that in this feud, the line between heel and face has been blurred. I love the fact that WWE is just presenting this as 2 super groups just colliding. I think it's great. I think it's something that made an old school feud like the Freebirds versus the Von Erichs so great. I think it's going to be an awesome match. The build-up has been excellent. I think they've done it perfectly and just as well as they possibly could. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that match. In terms of who's going to win, I think it's got to be the Wyatt family. I mean, the Shield really doesn't seem like they're in it for the long haul now. Moving forward, feels like really a breakup is imminent, and it could even happen on Sunday. So I think you have to go with the Wyatt family, especially considering that Bray Wyatt is presumably facing John Cena at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, they've done a great job, like you said, of making this seem like just like a legendary match between 2 huge teams. A legendary type feel around it, which is something WWE can do at the snap of their fingers and sometimes don't. They've definitely tuned it up for this match. They make it seem like it's, ancient Rome versus ancient Greece or something like that, where it's just 2 powerhouses going at it, and it's definitely going to be special. Just on Raw, seeing the 3 guys of each team standing face to face was just a crazy moment. It really is the future of the WWE. Paul, I know you're hyped for it as well. We were talking about it, obviously, before the show a little bit. Your thoughts on it? Do you agree with Randy, or eh?
No, I totally agree. It's just ancient Rome versus ancient Greece. You know, they're not going to bring Jim Ross out in a toga again, are they?
I wouldn't be surprised. That should have been a Vince McMahon question.
If we're lucky.
Yeah. It's just about the only thing that could add to the match, I suppose. You know, there's very few matches that they alone could make me buy a pay-per-view, you know, where you go, oh, I don't care what the rest of the card is, I have to watch this pay-per-view just for that one match. But this is one of those. It's you know, it's got tremendous potential, and I think we're all excited for it, I assume. Have you guys heard from anybody like saying, "Oh, I'm not looking forward to this match"?
I haven't seen anybody on Twitter, and I purposely follow douchebags on Twitter just to see their idiocy. So I mean,
you follow me?
You're definitely one of the douchebags.
Yeah.
Sadly, sorry to break it to you, but I'm still hung up on you saying that JR and a toga would add to the match.
Of course it would. It would add to any scenario.
Obviously.
In life, Sean.
Obviously. I mean, duh.
I mean, he's just started his own podcast, and I like to believe that he presents it while wearing a toga.
I'm just gonna let you deal with that emotion as we move on. I think it's definitely agreed that Shield vs. Wyatt's is gonna be awesome. I'm taking the Wyatts just because if you're gonna have Bray Wyatt versus John Cena, you gotta make him look as strong as possible heading in.
Yeah, I also think, you know, the Shield breaking up will facilitate a Wyatt victory. So that would be my prediction.
Yeah, I can definitely see a Roman Reigns spear on Dean Ambrose, and I would be okay with that because this spear is awesome.
Dean Ambrose's expression would also be incredibly awesome.
Every Dean Ambrose expression is awesome. So, I mean, hey. But we move on from one of the 2 awesome matches to a match that is very much just kind of weird, and I'm not personally very excited about it at all. I know Randy is, so we'll kick it over to him pretty much right away. It's Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil, the former primetime players, hooah, 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 or however he does it. But yeah, I mean, it's happening. It's going to be probably a 5-minute match, and Titus O'Neil is probably going to win, and I'm probably not going to care. Randy, for some reason, you're excited about it, so you talk about it, because I just can't without falling asleep.
Well, I don't know if I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the fact that WWE has put some time and attention into building a mid-card feud. I like the fact that they've given Titus O'Neil promo time. I like the fact that they are, at least for a week, trying to get people interested in Titus O'Neil's new heel character. I like the fact that they're trying to get people pumped up, or at least somewhat interested in a match that otherwise, you know, they don't necessarily have to, and in most cases WWE wouldn't. They would just do nothing for this match. I appreciate the fact that they've done something for the match at least, and I don't know if I'm excited. I think it's going to be a decent match. I think it's just kind of the perfect little mid-card feud that began. It had its little middle with, some brawls, some mic work, and now it's just going to end in one pay-per-view match that's hopefully somewhat decent. So, yeah, I don't think it's as boring as you present it out to be. I don't know if I'm necessarily excited, but I think it could be interesting, and it could be a dark horse match on the card.
His promo, Titus O'Neil's promo on Raw, I think it was in like a backstage interview with Renee Young. It was actually really good. I was actually really surprised for it. And Titus O'Neil is really good. He's probably could be a main event level talent. But the problem I've
said that from the beginning. I feel like he has a ton of charisma, and I appreciate that they've let him show it.
Yeah, but the problem with it is it's literally 15 minutes before WrestleMania pretty much kicks off.
Right.
And this match and this feud is going to get lost in the shuffle, and Titus O'Neil isn't going to be seen for another month until April 4th or whenever WrestleMania is done. So I think that kind of takes away from it, because it's obvious he's just not going to be at WrestleMania in a match unless it's maybe a battle royal or just something weird where he somehow sneaks into an undercard match, which I don't see happening. So that kind of takes it away from me. It seems like it's just taking up space, but at least it has had some build to it, and it's not just randomly thrown together. Paul, your thoughts on it? Because I think you're more in my boat than Randy's.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, the thing is, but you guys are in the same boat regarding Titus O'Neil. I don't see much upside to the guy at all, and I don't mean that, you know, in an offensive way. I mean, he's not bad. I've seen him have reasonable matches as a singles competitor, and yeah, he can cut a promo. But you know, when you think of all the actual like tremendous talent that there actually is in the company at the moment that are already, you know, single stars, I don't see the point of looking to Titus O'Neil as the next big star. You know, if guys like Ryback are going to get lost in the shuffle, and guys like Brodus Clay are going to say, "Oh, I'm a main event talent," then go missing for 6 weeks, I don't see how Titus O'Neil breaking out on his own is going to result in anything positive. Also, the thing is, in saying that, if you're going to break up a tag team, break them up right. And I know the primetime players aren't the Road Warriors or hell, you know, the Rockers or anything like that, but I feel as though if you're going to break up a tag team, give it some real development. And like Randy said, you know, for a little mid-card feud, it's actually far better than WWE usually manages. What they've actually done so far is better than what they would usually do. But I still feel as though it's been rushed. And, you know, the main thing is, since the breakup, it's been relatively well done. But the breakup came out of absolutely nowhere. There was no indication that there was any tension or stress between the two guys. So I don't know. I mean, if I can buy into it, I can buy into it, but I can't because it came out of nowhere. And it seems like a waste to me of, you know, a decent tag team that were fun, you know, for the sake of making two guys single stars that I don't think will actually go anywhere.
Yeah, this seems like the strategy that WWE has had with their tag teams for like the last 5 years, where they get a semi-relevant tag team together, and then they break them up and try to make them into single stars, and both guys kind of just disappear.
Name me one success story from that.
And that's exactly why I don't want the Rhodes brothers to break up just in time for a WrestleMania match, because there is no indication of anything between them. And I'm kind of jumping the gun because I know the Rhodes brothers have a match on the show, but I still just don't see the upside of breaking up a team like the Rhodes brothers just so that they can have a WrestleMania match when it would feel so rushed and so underdeveloped. I just don't see the upside in that when you could do it a few months later with proper build-up.
Yeah, and if I may digress for just a moment, there's two major effects in WWE that's how I categorize them. You got the Shawn Michaels effect, and you got the Trish Stratus effect. The Trish Stratus effect is what they've done with the likes of Kelly, where they try to bring in a model and retrain them as a wrestler. The problem is Trish Stratus was a wrestling fan, and she was, you know, an exceptional, you know, performer. So, you know, she's the exception to the rule. Bringing in, you know, models generally isn't going to result in you making them into great professional wrestlers. And the Shawn Michaels effect is the decision to split up a tag team in pursuit of the next Shawn Michaels. Problem is, Shawn Michaels is also the exception to the rule. He's an exceptional competitor. Breaking up a tag team every few weeks isn't going to result in you finding your next superstar.
Well, I mean, if you break up a tag team every day for 20 years, eventually you'll probably find somebody that's half decent. But hey, that's another story for another day. I think it'll be a decent match, Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil. I don't think it'll last particularly long or be memorable at all. But hey, it is what it is. At least it has some type of story behind it. But you just heard Randy talk about the Brotherhood, and that's who we transition into next. Ryback and Curtis Axel, the team collectively known as Rybaxel. God, that's a wonderful name.
Imaginative.
Yeah, right? Versus the Brotherhood.
And you know, we're talking about story. This match has so much story going into it. You got
well, Ryback has an Iron Man singlet, so
there you go.
Logically, him and Goldust would feud. I mean, obviously, it's been coming for months, but it is a match on the card for some reason. I'm guessing it's pretty much going to be the Brotherhood breaking up, or at least hinting at a breakup, like Randy just talked about. And I would much prefer them to stick together through WrestleMania and then have their match at WrestleMania 31 if you really have to go in that direction. But it is what it is. Randy, you're obviously not a huge fan of that idea. Your thoughts on this match and that idea as well?
Well, I mean, this is a pre-show match, so yeah, there's no story. There is nothing to hook your interest about this match at all. But I'm sure it will be somewhat good. I'm sure that. Well, I have faith in Cody Rhodes and Goldust that they will get the crowd pumped up before the pay-per-view, and I'm assuming it'll be a pretty good match because I've seen this match at least 150,000 times before, and it was good every single one of those times. But as far as
they've only been around for a year, Randy.
Well, I know, right? That's WWE's problem. The other thing is about the Brotherhood splitting is that here's the thing. Not only would it be rushed and underdeveloped and completely out of nowhere, but it would also lead to nothing for Cody Rhodes and Goldust. If you are a fan of Goldust, I promise you that WWE, no matter how good he is, they will not push him to any level at the age he is and at the position he is. They will not push him. He will not be featured. So, and same thing with Cody Rhodes. I don't think that Cody Rhodes is going to get anywhere just being a mid-card face. So I just don't think it's a good move, but I have faith in this match being a pretty solid pre-show.
I would much prefer Cody Rhodes winning Money in the Bank this year, or the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and then him holding it, feud with Goldust through WrestleMania, and then cashing in and elevating himself like that, because he has elevated a lot through this tag team. The entire goal of this team has pretty much been to get Cody Rhodes over, and it's really worked. He's really, really been great, and fans have responded to him great. But I do think that it's a little bit too early, because there seemingly isn't any great plan for Cody after the feud with Goldust that would happen from breaking them up. So I don't think I love the idea of that happening at all for the moment. And this match is probably going to be incredibly, incredibly average, as most Curtis Axel matches are, because he has zero charisma. It's actually amazing how he has nothing interesting about him at all.
The thing is, though, he is a, playing devil's advocate here, he is a good wrestler, so, you can't fault him there.
Yeah, he knows the basics, I guess.
Yeah, and, Ryback's not bad either. I mean, he's a bit mechanical for my taste, but,
yeah,
still relatively good.
They don't suck, but, I mean, they're not great, I don't think. They're not particularly interesting. But, Paul, since you just love Ryback so much, why don't you talk about the match?
I love them so much. Yeah, no, I do not. Incidentally, I do find the concept of them quite funny. It's not like they don't draw attention to it or anything, but here's how I see it. Ryback is the big bully in school, and Curtis Axel is that guy. And anyone who's ever been to school, which is pretty much everyone, knows this pair. The bully, which is Ryback, and that weakling that follows the bully around and laughs at all his stupid jokes and antics. The one who just hangs around them for the prestige. That's Curtis Axel. Every time, Ryback slaps someone on the back of the head, he giggles. So, I actually find that to be quite an entertaining concept for a tag team. And they deserve to go in the Hall of Fame for their name alone, because it's an incredibly inventive name for a tag team. Cody Rhodes, Goldust, I wanted them to have a match at WrestleMania, but I don't think there's enough time now. So maybe one day, maybe it's SummerSlam, who knows. But also, it looks like a lot of tag teams are going to split up, and they're such an incredibly good tag team. I'd like them to stay together for the foreseeable future. The other thing is, if they do split up and try to force in a match for them at WrestleMania, it's never a good time to be on the undercard at WrestleMania season, in my opinion, because you got Triple H cutting his 20-minute promos, you got The Undertaker taking 10 minutes to and from the ring,
Hey.
So, everyone, I'm not, I like having The Undertaker around, but, it's still, guys like him and Triple H and everyone else and all the other main eventers probably take up about an hour and a half of the 3 hours of Raw, and the rest of the undercard has to struggle for like 10 minutes, so... It's not good to be on the undercard at WrestleMania season, is all I'm saying. So keep them together for now, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good point, too. I mean, this is WrestleMania 30, so it's going to be huge. You're going to have a couple of just massive matches. So why not wait till next year? Obviously, there's still going to be huge matches, because that's the way WrestleMania has been built the last few years, with at least one or two just amazing, huge, giant matches. but it won't be as stacked, I don't think, and I think there's a much better chance that it would get a better spot on the card. But we move on from one tag team match to the tag team title match, and that is New Age Outlaws, the champs, versus the Usos in a match that I talked about a little bit last week, so we're not going to talk a ton about it, and I'm not going to talk a ton about it. But pretty much summed up, I'm not a huge fan of the Outlaws as tag champions and as heels. I love the Usos. I'd much prefer the Usos to win, but I get the feeling like they'll lose because the Outlaws are apparently heels or whatever, and then they'll win the titles at WrestleMania. I just want to see the Usos as champions, though. I feel like they've more than deserved it. They're probably WWE's most consistent and best tag team, in my opinion at least, for the last year or so, probably, at least until the tag division has become so relevant again. Randy, I'll kick it right over to you quick. Your thoughts on the match, who's going to win, and really what it means for WrestleMania, because I could see a potential WrestleMania rematch.
So the New Age Outlaws are the tag team champions, unfortunately, and I think we all collectively agree that that the Usos should become tag team champions at some point. I would be perfectly happy if it was Sunday when they beat the Outlaws. I'd be perfectly happy if it was WrestleMania when they beat the Outlaws. I don't care. I just think that everyone worrying about the Outlaws as champions just need to realize that it's not going to be a long reign, and they are going to drop it to the Usos eventually, whether that be this month or in April at WrestleMania. So I just think everyone needs to calm down about it a little bit. And at WrestleMania, I think there should be a multi-tag team match, since there's so many still, even though they're breaking a ton of them up. There's a lot of awesome tag teams still on the roster that deserve a WrestleMania match. So I think they should have a multi-tag team WrestleMania match with the Usos coming out on top. And I think the Usos should come out on top on Sunday, but I'm not sure if they will quite yet.
I mean, hell, why not just combine the two matches we just talked about and do a fatal four-way if you really have to get those 8 guys in as bad as you want? I mean, it would give 8 guys spots at Mania, which is the biggest show of the year, and get in some relevant tag teams at least. So, I mean, that is a good idea, and I'd actually support that a lot. I think that'd be a cool way to go about it. Paul, your thoughts on the match and whether or not the Usos should walk away as tag team champions and will walk away as tag champs?
Well, look, I saw a great comparison a while ago that made me laugh, and I thought, actually, if they go that route, it'd be excellent. If Triple H is now our Vince McMahon of the New Age Outlaws, the Stooges, you know, they like the new Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe, and that really made me laugh, and I thought, if they actually go that direction, that would be great. But the Stooges never won a match. Never mind winning a title. I mean, it's not 1999. I'm genuinely upset that the New Age Outlaws came in and won the tag team championships, especially when almost every tag team has been tearing it up all year. You know, having excellent match after excellent match. It genuinely insulted me. But I guess they are good heels in the sense that, you know, they have a connection with the crowd, and the crowd, you know, will boo and hiss them, I guess. Except for when Road Dogg does the friggin' sing-along. You know, you shouldn't do that as a heel. But I digress. So, if they want to drop it to the Usos at the Elimination Chamber or at WrestleMania, I would be happy either way. But of all the teams this year that I have loved, the Usos are the ones I have enjoyed the most. They are an absolutely phenomenal tag team. You know, they remind me of, like, the Hardy Boys in their prime. I've heard a lot of people say they're very reminiscent of the Young Bucks on the indie scene. I haven't seen a lot of them, but that is what I've heard. I think they've just been excellent every time I've seen them all year, and, you know, they haven't never held the tag team gold. So, you know, that's going to be an actual big moment for me as a wrestling fan for when they do that, because I consider myself a major fan of the Usos. So, am I a fan of the New Age Outlaws being around and being tag team champions? No, but, you know, if it facilitates the Usos getting the gold eventually, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. I can deal with the evil if it means the Usos walk out the other side getting put over at an Elimination Chamber or at a WrestleMania. It's a necessary evil, I guess, for the moment. Hopefully it's a necessary evil that ends sooner rather than later, though. And speaking of necessary evils, or really just evils, Alberto Del Rio versus Batista will also be happening. Lucky us. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a match I just couldn't care less about. I was excited for Batista coming back at first, but he has just looked like a dick. Literally on every single Monday Night Raw. It's actually been amazing.
May I, in detail, extol the many virtues of this match?
Go right ahead, Paul, because I really can't find any.
Okay. Well, one, I got nothing. Two, no, I still got nothing. Can we move on quickly, please?
Pretty much that's what fans have agreed that this match feels like, because it just feels so throwaway. Everybody knows Batista's going to win. I would bet my life that the crowd is going to be chanting for announcers within 5 minutes of the bell ringing. It's just not interesting at all. I mean, Batista really hasn't been interesting since he returned. Alberto Del Rio hasn't been interesting since he debuted. So, woohoo for us. I'm sorry, Alberto.
Can I just point out, like, possibly the most annoying thing about this match, apart from, Batista being in it, not a big Batista fan, is the fact that, alright, if you're going to have Batista in a match, okay, because he is a big star, in his own right, the fact that it's Alberto Del Rio he's facing, even if it's as like a warm-up for WrestleMania, still suggests that they are still putting Alberto Del Rio in that category of, like, he is a top guy, which means that they will never be willing to listen to reason about this guy. This guy has never caught on. Nobody has ever cared about this guy. He's a really good wrestler. I have always said he's a really good wrestler, but, it's like he's had a charisma bypass at some point in his life, There's nothing he can do to make people care, and, putting him in a match against Batista, I mean, I don't think Batista should be around, but if you're going to have a big star be around, don't waste him on Alberto Del Rio.
I guess they figure he has 2 years, so, I mean, one pay-per-view with Del Rio won't kill anybody, but it might actually kill me from boredom. Randy, please, God, tell me you're not excited for this match.
Why wouldn't I be?
Obviously, yes.
I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, we can hear the enthusiasm in your voice.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, if I could, actually, I want to change my original question. If I could ask Vince McMahon anything, it would be why, Vince, why?
There's so many different answers he could give. Because fuck you, that's why. Apparently, I mean, I just can't get into Batista since he came back. Like I said, he just looks like such an asshole heel, and the fans have reacted to him like a heel. The crowd is just going to destroy this match. That's what I'm more excited about. Normally, I
guess
hate
what,
it.
Sean?
Yeah.
Guess what, Sean? Batista's main eventing WrestleMania.
I don't think they have the balls to do that.
If you ever take 5 minutes a day to think about that, it's so depressing, so sad. Sometimes it just passes through my mind when I get excited about WrestleMania, and then I think Batista's main eventing. It's really sad.
Do you know what it is as well? The Rock. He's the friggin' Rock. You know what I mean? Like it or not, there's no argument from a business perspective from putting The Rock at the top of the card at WrestleMania, from putting him on every poster, because it's the fucking Rock. But Batista's a big star, but he's not a bigger star than John Cena. He's not a bigger star than Triple H. He's not a bigger star than The Undertaker. There's going to be guys on that card that are bigger than Batista has ever been. So I mean, if you want to bring him back, I understand, but promoting him at this level, I don't give a shit if he's in Guardians of the Galaxy or not. And by the way, I'm excited for that movie, but the fact is that doesn't make him a big movie star.
Yeah.
And if Vince is putting him in the main event just so he can take that championship around all the talk shows, I'm going to be so pissed, because I understood when they did it with The Rock, but
Yeah, I mean, The Rock sold more tickets than Brad Pitt. There's a difference between that and a guy who is in his first major movie. We don't even know if it's going to sell well or anything.
It is Marvel.
Yeah, okay, it's going to sell well, but I mean...
it's not because of him, though. It's not, The Rock does sell tickets.
Yeah, it's because it's Marvel, like you said.
The movie Batista's in, Marvel sell the tickets.
Yeah, exactly. To me, this is a match that is just going to happen. Normally, I hate it when crowds just kind of take over a match. For this one, I don't honestly care. Just do whatever you want. Have fun. Go nuts. Go bananas. It is what it is, to be totally honest with you. But we move on from that just dumpster fire of a match and whatever it is to a match that I'm actually somewhat excited for. Big E Langston versus Jack Swagger for the IC title. I love Big E Langston, or Big E now, sorry. Shoot me dead. But
damn you, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, Vince. But I've really enjoyed just his entire run in the WWE so far, especially as a babyface. I feel like he has so much upside. He's very good in the ring, very athletic, and the stuff that he can do. Super, super strong. Cuts a pretty good promo, pretty charismatic. So I'm pretty hyped for this match. It's two guys that know what they're doing in the ring, at least. And we were just talking about Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil. At least there's some story to this match, even if it is just a few weeks old. You have the Real Americans thing going on and whatnot. So why not get a little bit hyped over it? Randy, you would obviously love your mid-card matches. Thoughts on this one, and who's going to walk away with the IC title heading into Mania?
Honestly, I have no idea. I do not know who's going to win this match because I feel like there's a reason why Jack Swagger was put in this match. Like, I feel like because there's like so many other mid-card heels that Big E Langston could have faced and destroyed. I just feel like there's a reason why Swagger got put in this position, and the fact that there's been some little things with like Zeb Coulter slapping him a few weeks ago, and now he's all of a sudden winning a bunch of matches. There's a reason why that's happening, I think, and so I could very well see Swagger taking the Intercontinental title, and then maybe Cesaro losing the Elimination Chamber match, and then that kind of instigates the breakup of the Real Americans, where Coulter is happy for Swagger because he's the champ, and angry at Cesaro because he lost the chamber match. So I could see that kind of instituting the breakup between the Real Americans that they've been teasing for a few weeks. So, yeah, but other than that, I think it's going to be a good match. I would like Big E Langston to walk out Intercontinental Champion because I think he's a great mid-card champion. I think he's a great character in general. So I'd love him to win, but honestly, I'm just hoping they give this some time because I think they can really put together something enjoyable to watch at the very least.
Yeah, the way that you talked about the Real Americans breaking up, I think that'd be really interesting because just a couple of weeks ago we thought that it would be Swagger being the one to go on the losing streak and then Coulter and Cesaro leaving him. You switch it up, and I think that'd be a really cool, different way at the very least to go about doing something like this, especially considering Cesaro just has a babyface vibe about him. We saw John Cena and him do just an amazing match on Raw this past week. He has the big pop face move with the giant swing, has the huge strength of a babyface. So I think that'd be a really cool way to go about it. And I think that'd be a good Mania match, to be totally honest with you, if they could at least get some intrigue behind it heading into the big show. And I think that's a very big possibility. So it could go either way, and I think that's a good thing for any match. Paul, your thoughts on the Big E Langston versus Jack Swagger bout?
Well, there's quite a bit of talk about Cesaro there, and I've got a lot to say about him with regards to the Real Americans and stuff, but I'll talk about that during the main event part of the Midcard Mafia show. As for this match, I'm not sure how these guys are going to mesh. That's my main concern. But, they're both, I actually really think Jack Swagger's a really good wrestler. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Big E, I think you're right in what you say. He's very athletic. I think he's very basic, but that's okay. I don't mind that. You don't have to do all the complicated moves to get the crowd on side, and I think he's good at getting the crowd on side. Interestingly, I don't think WWE helping him get his character across so well these days. Big E Langston, or just Big E, if you'd rather. Because I think he's actually, he's got a lot of personality, and I don't think they're letting that shine through quite so much. That's another issue, though. I would predict that Langston will still keep the belt. I think it'd be an interesting subversion what Randy said if Swagger won and Cesaro was the one who disappointed Zeb. Because at the moment it looks like going the other way. So it would be an interesting subversion, but I don't think they will go that route. I think they'll keep it pretty straight, and I think Swagger's going to continue to disappoint his manager. Because I think they haven't had a lot for Big E to do recently, but I do still think they're invested in him long term, and it's a good investment, by the way. So I would predict that Big E will retain. I think it might be a bit of an awkward match, but I'm hoping these guys subvert my expectations and put it together well.
Yeah, Cena likes Big E, and obviously Cena controls all booking decisions in the WWE. So Big E should be WWE World Heavyweight Champion within the next.
Controls everything.
Yes.
Cena controls absolutely everything.
I mean, I'm hyped for the match. At least it won't suck. It'll be a good 10-15 minutes of the show. Compared to some of the other undercard bouts on it, I think it's worth it. A good match to have. And Big E, I think, is a star in the making, and Jack Swagger is Jack Swagger. Nobody really knows what he is anymore. But
well, at least they're putting together a little story for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least it has something behind it, and we can think that.
What story now? The story for this match?
Yeah, this match.
I don't particularly. I mean, what's the story that? I mean, I'm excited for it, but I think it's gonna be a good match.
Not necessarily like story and a big angle, but just build they've been coming out to ringside to watch Big E's matches, things like that. Things like that. Just the small things.
Yeah,
it's better than it just being a match and then the guys having no contact whatsoever for 4 weeks.
Yeah, without a doubt. But we move on from a match that has been kind of built up to a match that has been built up literally for weeks now. Randy Orton facing all 5 of his opponents this Sunday in the Elimination Chamber World WWE Heavyweight of the World Universe title match. I'm pretty hyped for it. I think everybody else is too. This has obviously been the second big match that we've been hyping up all podcast. I think it's going to be great. Antonio Cesaro, Christian, John Cena, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, all these great names are in there. It's going to be a really fun match. I could see a bunch of different guys coming out. Even Antonio Cesaro has been given a slight, tiny chance at it because he beat Orton. I think really it comes down to Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, or maybe John Cena winning it. I want to see Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan is awesome. But if they want to hold that off until WrestleMania, I'd be for that as well. I just want to see a good match, and I think that's what we're going to get. Everybody agrees that it's a good match, right? Randy, you agree? I'm assuming you better.
Yep, I do. I agree.
Paul?
Yeah, incredibly excited.
Okay, Randy.
I agree.
Your thoughts on it now that we both know you agree.
My thoughts.
Randy. Paul, you go second. You suck.
All right. I shall wait.
Okay. So, I will preface this by saying that I am more excited for the Shield versus the Wyatt family. I have to throw that out there.
Tough call, though.
Yeah, they're both going to be great, but just pumped up for the Shield and Wyatts. But this match is going to be great, too, and I think it could be one of the better Elimination Chamber matches that we've seen in years, just based on the sheer talent and the fact that there is a ton of little mini stories going on in this match, which I really appreciate. Like, they've given Christian the whole one more match thing. They've kind of turned him heel a little bit. They've done somewhat the same thing they've done a lot of angles with Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton disappointing the Authority. So there's a lot of tiny stories to be excited about and all these stories are going to unfold in this match. So I'm happy about that. But in terms of the match itself, I think Sean's right. Definitely going to come down to Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan, and I think that it's Randy Orton's match to win, especially considering that he's lost all of his singles matches the last few weeks. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really awesome main event. I'm excited to see how Cesaro does. I'm excited to see how Daniel Bryan does. I'm excited to see all these little mini stories unfold. I'm excited to see where WrestleMania is headed, because this match is really going to be the match that tells everyone all of WWE's various directions for their big stars at WrestleMania. So I'm excited for it, and my prediction is that Randy Orton's walking out WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, the WrestleMania card might not become crystal clear after this match, but it'll certainly become clearer. I don't think that they have the balls to go with Orton and Batista in the main event, just those two. But I think we'll see much more of that on Raw, and whether or not that happens, that's a discussion for a different day, though. And I want to see Daniel Bryan in the main event because he's just so obscenely popular. We've all seen the article in USA Today. It's just amazing how big he is right now, and I want to see him win the world title, and I hope he does it on Sunday. If not, at least find a way to sneak him into the main event of Mania, and then have him win it there. Regardless, I think it's going to be a really, really fun night. I think the crowd's going to be huge on this match because, like Randy was just saying, they've done a great job of building it up so all 6 guys have a legitimate reason to win this thing. Even Antonio Cesaro, who just a few weeks ago was really doing nothing as a singles star at least. Very interesting for all of that. Paul, your thoughts on all 6 guys and really what it means for WrestleMania and who's going to win this thing?
Well, I'm incredibly excited, and I'm glad you said my thoughts on all 6 guys, because I've decided, I'm going to run through each one, so I'll start, you got Sheamus. I think he's mostly there to fill the numbers, but at the same time, a guy like him in an extreme environment like that, he always comes out looking like a machine, because, the guy just works so snug, he's an absolute badass. I always love his matches, and in environments like this, it's even better still. John Cena. The guy can make the crowd care about absolutely anything, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. He's basically the anti-Alberto Del Rio. And he's also a hell of a wrestler, despite what people say. So, excellent inclusion and a no-brainer, of course. Christian, probably my favourite wrestler at the moment, active wrestler. So, I can't speak well enough about him. It's going to be his first ever Elimination Chamber match, which is really cool. I don't really think he has much of a chance. I don't want to fool myself into thinking that this heel turn is going to lead to any sort of push either, but it's an interesting little bit of character development, and something that I don't know how often it gets said, but I happen to know that a lot of his fellow wrestlers respect Christian for this, is the way he puts together his matches. He's known for putting together his matches in very clever ways, and I'm interested to see how that'll come across in the chamber. Cesaro said I had a lot to say about him. He's just excellent. If the Real Americans are going to break up, I want Cesaro to keep Zeb Coulter, because whoever keeps Zeb Coulter is going to go further, in my opinion, because neither he nor Jack Swagger are particularly charismatic. But Zeb Coulter, he demands attention because he's an excellent, orator, etc., etc. Don't think he's going to win. Think he will put on an excellent performance and be given some really good moments. Probably between him and Christian, they'll do some sort of big spot, I imagine. Because, he's the guy in there who's capable of doing some insane spot, like with a feat of strength or something like that. And guy like Christian or Bryan is going to be the one who takes the big bump for it. Speaking of which, Daniel Bryan, one sentence, the best wrestler in the world. That's it. Oh, 2 sentences, the best wrestler in the world, the most popular wrestler in the world. And Randy Orton, smoothest motherfucker alive. I have never seen a guy execute moves so smoothly. I love him as a performer as well. I think he's an excellent wrestler. So, I can't speak highly enough about these 6 guys, as far as, in the ring goes. And you put them all together, you give them, I imagine they're going to get like 30 minutes inside the chamber, which is always exciting. I couldn't be more excited for this match, honestly.
I don't know if there's anything I can say after that. Really good job there. I'm hyped for the show for sure. We're up against the clock, guys. So one more time, everybody around, final thoughts on the show. And a preview grade, B+, A-, whatever. I'm going to go with a solid B. I think the 2 matches, Wyatt Family and Shield, and then the Elimination Chamber match will carry it. Randy, we'll start with you real quick. We're up against the clock.
I think there's a lot of stuff to be excited in the mid-card, a lot of stuff to be excited in the main event. I'm going to go with a preview grade of A. I think it could be potentially a fantastic show.
Paul.
I will give it a C because, 2 excellent matches out of like 6 or 7 on the entire card isn't great for me. But those 2 matches alone will make it an A show, in my opinion, most likely. The rest of the mid-card just needs to not be awful. So, not bad.
Should be a fun 24 hours to be a wrestling fan. We get the WWE Network the next morning, and then a huge Monday Night Raw later that night. WrestleMania is here, basically. Very exciting time to be a fan of wrestling. TNA is doing good stuff. Ring of Honor is doing good stuff. WWE is still inconsistent as hell, but I mean, WrestleMania is coming around, so you hope they figure that out. This is WrestleEnigma.com. This is the Midcard Mafia podcast. Comment below with your thoughts. Thank you for listening, hanging on with us for the 45 minutes. My name is Sean Linhares. Their names are Paul McIntyre and Randy Logan. Until next time, bye, girl.